Yes, once again, I welcome you. I welcome you. I
Yes,
hope that
once
you learn
again, I welcome you. I
in
welcome
facilitation
you.
class. Yes, we are already
Facilitation
in
class.
week five. Week five
We are
in
already in
facilitation. You know my name
five.
already.
Five.
My name
In
is Dr.
facilitation. You
Abayomi
know my name
Bankole.
already.
The
My name
topic of
is
today,
Dr.
the topic of
Abayomi
today
Bankole.
is
The
production of
topic of
eggs
today,
and
the
broilers.
topic of today
Production
is
of
production
eggs
of eggs,
and broilers. Yes,
production
last
of
week
eggs
we were
and
able
broilers.
to check
Yes,
through
last week
an important topic
we
on brooding.
checked
Brooding.
important
Yes,
topic.
but today it is on eggs and broilers
Yes,
production.
today
Please, I want you to
eggs
put your
and broilers
maximum
production.
concentration in this class
This
because it's going to be interesting. You are welcome. You are welcome on board. Let us go straight to class without any waste of time. Let's go to class.
Let us go straight to class without any waste of time. Let's go to class.
Yes. You are welcome. You are welcome to class. You are welcome to class, my great Greek students. Oh, yes, I already told you the topic, and you can see it on the screen very clearly. The topic of today: production of eggs and broilers. Production of eggs and broilers. In case you have any query, any question, anything to clarify, please don't hesitate to reach me on the institutional email. My institutional email, you can see right there, asbankole@noun.edu.ng. Let's move on quickly. Yes, introduction. Poultry, meat and egg for human consumption are the two reasons for raising broilers and pullets. And let me tell you that these are the two major end products of poultry production in general. And of course, as you are aware, poultry is a sub-sector in the livestock industry necessary to bridge the gap between the demand and supply of animal protein within the shortest possible time. However, the farmer has to have the requisite skill raising this poultry species. Otherwise, there will not be efficient and profitable enterprise for the farmer. Now, a result-oriented poultry enterprise will then require a good balance of feeding, housing, disease control, record keeping, breeds, and breeding. Now, I need to let you know that this shows that there is a lot of technical know-how demanded on the part of the farmer to get maximum results. Now, this is why today's topic addresses the production and management issues relating to poultry meat and eggs. Now, we have three intended learning outcomes. Yes, three intended learning outcomes. Number one, at the end of today's topic, it is expected that you should be able to identify and explain the steps involved in producing table eggs and meat. And two, you should be able to explain the risk involved in keeping broiler and pullet chicks if management practices are not adhered to. And of course, the last one, you should be able to identify and explain the variables for the evaluation of performance of broilers and pullets. Now, let's go straight to the first aspect of our discussion for today, and that is management of layers. Management of layers. Of course, without gainsaying, you are aware that layers are producers of eggs, the table eggs you eat. Yes, they are the producers of those eggs. And we want to look at how you properly manage them today. Now, layers like chicks and growers are taken care of by applying some routine operations and by also performing certain specific operations as a need may arise. Layers are raised in the laying house, which should have been dewormed at least 3 weeks before transfer to those laying houses, and sometimes also before released eggs will reach the effective stage and cause reinfection. Now, the birds should also be deloused few days to their transfer to the new apartment. Now, crates are needed to move the birds during the coolest part of the day. Please don't transfer birds in the hot sun. Please let it be at the coolest part of the day, preferably in the night. In the night, when everywhere is cool. Now, the birds should not be handled roughly. Take note of that. And when deep litter is used, uh, well-made nest of the correct number should be fixed. Let's look at routine operations. I'll run through this so quickly. Yes, number one, dead birds should be removed once found to prevent contamination of live birds. Two, fresh should be added uh, to the old one in the feeder and mixed after litter and droppings in the latter. The old the old feed have been removed. Now, waterers are taken out, meaning the watering cans. They are taken out, they are cleaned, and you have to refill them, of course, with clean, cool water. Eggs should be collected not less than 3 times a day, depending on your production size. Yes, early morning around 9 a.m. you can take the first batch of eggs. By 12 noon, another. By 4 p.m. in the evening, another. Now, the litter should be turned by using a rake. Let's look at specific operations, management of layers. Number one, calling. What do we mean by calling? Calling is the continual elimination of undesirable birds from the flock or unproductive birds. Now, this may be due to the calling may be due to poor performance, vice, habits, deformities, illnesses, and so on and so forth that you may find in your layer beds. Now, however, layers are called primarily on the basis of their ability or inability, on their inability, I mean, to lay eggs. Number two, control of vice habits. Control of vice habits. Any vice habits observed is an indicator of a stress factor. Of course, you want to eliminate stress completely uh, in the flock. Now, vice habit may be due to inadequate space heading, to struggle for survival, nutritionally deficient diet, particularly methionine, causing pecking and light being too bright, which may cause nervousness, resulting in pecking. We also look at another specific operation which is called controlling egg defects, egg defect control, egg defects control. Egg defects include abnormal egg size, soft-shelled eggs, and a high percentage of eggs with cracks. Now, egg size tends to increase from point of lay to just before birds stop to lay. However, small egg sizes may be caused by the deficiency of amino and essential fatty acid like the ethylenic acid. Now, shellless eggs may also occur once in a while if the eggs spend a shorter time in the uterus, or the situation may be caused by diseases like Loro Newcastle disease and bronchitis. Now, a high percentage of cracks is an indication of calcium deficiency uh, or some other vitamins such as vitamins A and D and other nutrients that are not in proper balance. It may also be due to poor management like inadequate nesting facilities or hard floored nests and infrequent egg collection. Now, number four, handling poultry manure. This is also another specific operation. Now, commercialization of poultry production has now made poultry manure to constitute an environmental problem rather than an asset. Yes, because it is moist and because of its content of nutrients and organic matter, manure is a suitable breeding ground for pestiferous flies like the house flies. Now, the manure is often a source of odor caused by the production of fatty acids like butyric, valeric, and caprylic acids. Now, these are acids that make uh, the manure to be odorous, bringing up putrefying odors. Now, another thing is under handling of poultry manure is flies. Flies needs to be controlled by spraying droppings with insecticides, and larvicide. Now, poultry manure can be disposed of by using it for gardening. It can also be composted, incinerated, or used even for gas production. Yes, used for gas production. Now, another specific operation is handling cage fatigue. Cage fatigue. Some prolific layers at peak of laying may suffer leg weaknesses which may make them squat, unable to reach feed and water, and eventually they may starve to death. So, cage fatigue is not usually remedied with medication, no medication for that. But you simply need to just release the birds from their cages onto the floor litter where there is room for physical exercise. Grasses can also be harvested, washed, and put in the house for them to eat. Another specific operation in the management of layers is molting. Molting. Now, what is molting? This is the process of shedding and renewing feathers. Now, it occurs normally once a year, though it may occur in certain individuals uh, like twice a year, and more rarely more than 2 times a year. Ants usually molt in the following order. It starts from the head, now goes to the neck, before it reaches the body, and it goes to the wings, and then lastly to the tail. Birds can be force molted. Yes, you can force molt them by uh, stress if you allow them to be stressed, or even drug action, drugs administration. Drugs can make them to be force molted. Now, birds force molted may produce more eggs. Oh, that's quite surprising, but that's it. Yes, they will produce more eggs, but there are other issues attached. Now, the eggs may be larger and have larger yolk at the expense of the albumen. So you can see that it's not all rosy for a bird to be molting all the time. Now, higher hoof units can also be seen, and thicker shells may also result, while the birds have larger end of lay body weight. All right. Now, another specific operation is egg eating. Egg eating. This starts in a flock usually by one or a few birds, but soon rapidly spreads as that to other birds. Accidental breakage of eggs, soft-shelled eggs, like we said earlier, an infrequent collection of eggs may prompt birds into this bad habit. Other possible causes are nutritional imbalance and inadequate nesting facilities. Now, lastly, under this, I guess, under this specific operation, we want to look at heat stress management. Heat stress is a great economic threat to the poultry industry. Adverse effects of heat stress include depression in egg production, egg weight, shell thickness, feed intake, feed efficiency, or inefficiency, fertility in the male, hatchability, growth rate, and so on and so forth. Now, a well-ventilated poultry house helps greatly to combat this thermal heat stress. Now, strains of the chicken normally differ genetically the ability to resist is its stress, either in terms of survival rate or playing performance. Yeah. Now let us go to the second aspect of our discussion today, and that is broiler production. How do you manage broilers? What are broilers? Now let's see. Broilers are fast growing birds which reach market weight around 1.6 kilogram to 2 kilogram within 8 to 10 weeks. Some may be extended to around 12 weeks, although not advisable. Normally, it should be between 8 to 10 weeks, and they would have gained around 2 kilogram of weight. Now, a broiler or fryer can be of either sex, can be of any sex, either male or female. Now, its flesh is tender, called broiler. Broiler flesh is tender with soft, pliable, smooth textured, and flexible breasts. Now, the commercial tail birds industry is now largely based on these broilers. Oh, I know you must have taken broilers a number of times. Some of you may actually be into poultry production, so you know what I'm talking about. Now, the other type of table beds are either by byproduct of egg production, such as spent layers, or byproduct of hatchery operations like cuisines or roosters. Yes. Now, let's look at factors pertinent to understanding of broiler performance. We'll rush through this so quickly. Now, at any given age, males are usually heavier than the females. Weekly increases in body weight are not usually uniform, and weight gains increase until reaching maximum at about 8 week or straight run. That's for both sexes uh, together. Now, weekly feed consumption increases as their weight increases. Oh, I need to let you know, broilers consume a lot. So you need to be prepared for their feeding. Another thing is that the more feed consumed, the better the feed conversion at any given age. Now, healthy birds consume more feed and have better feed conversion than sick birds, obviously. You want to also note that the greater the activity of broilers, the lower the feed efficiency. So you don't want them, their house to be so large and they are few there, they are just jumping all over the place. Now, cannibalism causes lowered feed intake, growth, and feed conversion. Please take note of that. Changes in temperature also causes changes in feed consumption. Now, for example, high temperatures will reduce feed intake, while low temperature encourages the birds to eat more. At market time, birds in a flock will not be uniform in weight. Please take note of that. So they do grading. They do grading of these birds. Mortality rate should not exceed 5%. Very important. Very important. Now, let's look and run through quickly what are the management practices for broilers. I'll just quickly run through this. My time is running out quickly. Now, the essential condition for broiler rearing are similar to that of the pullets. Yes, they are similar to that of the pullet layers. However, please take note of this. Number one, poultry house temperature. Now, for broilers, they require a higher starting temperature of around 35 degrees Celsius, which is gradually reduced to environmental temperature. Number two, ventilation of the broiler house. Now, a higher rate of ventilation is required in the house because broilers have a higher stocking density than the pullet chicks. Now, the main function of ventilation are to maintain uh, constant flow of oxygen and keeping uh, carbon dioxide as low as possible. Now, you also need to remove dust, moisture, ammonia from the house and maintain the required temperature. In the tropics, the house should be free of internal fittings and partitions that may impede straight through ventilation. Yes, lighting. Lighting in the broiler house is very important. Now, a low light intensity of 1.076 lux or less is adequate for broilers after an initial light intensity of about 10.76 lux necessary for the first few days. Now, the birds require only enough light to see their feed so that they can eat very well. Now, what of broiler feeds? Yes, of course, the broiler feeds are different from the layer feeds. Broiler require higher levels of certain nutrients like protein with their amino acid and energy than pullet chicks. Now, starter ration is having uh, more protein, around 22% of protein and less metabolizable energy uh, than the finisher ration, which should be around 20%, and of course with 3,000 kilocalorie metabolizable energy per kilogram. Now, the finisher diet containing increased levels of fat and xanthophylls pigments aids in the development of the uniform yellow skin color that you see. Sexing. Broiler may be sexed by vent, color, or rate of feathering. Males attain uh, market weight faster than females of the same age. The latter grow more slowly. I mean, the females, they grow more slowly and they need less protein than males. Males convert feed to meat more efficiently than females. Females also show less response to chemical growth promoters than males. Now, let's look at the floor space requirement. Broilers require a floor space of about 0.06 meters from day O to marketing. Now, this stocking rate is mainly to ensure maximum profit from floor space and also to restrict extensive movement, which is accompanied by the wasteful dissipation of energy by the birds. You want to also look at broiler health management. Oh, this is very important. Now, a health program is very fundamental for successful broiler production. A suggested disease prevention and control program goes thus. One, start with disease-free chicks. Please don't go and get chicks from a notorious disease-prone hatchery, please. Now, number two, you use effective drugs and vaccines, of course. Number three, keep feed free from aflatoxin. Yes, please don't overstock feed to the extent of them getting moldy because it will produce aflatoxin that will destroy destroy your broiler production. Only people wearing disinfected boots and clean clothing should be allowed into broiler house. If there is more than one age group on the farm, then the younger batch should be attended to first while performing your daily routine works. Now, you need to cover the floor with clean litter at least 5 centimeter deep after each clean out. Yes, we are already at the end of today's discussion. Now, what have we done today? What have we done today? Now, under today's topic, we have been able to highlight the indices for evaluating the performance of the layer egg production cycle. Number two, look at factors that affect the performance of layers. Of course, we look at management of layers and even that of broilers, and they require routine and specific operations in this uh, different category of poultry beds. And lastly, we look at facts pertinent to an understanding of broiler performance. Oh, please, we have come to the end of today's class. I will implore you to always visit the virtual learning environment. A lot is going on there. Please don't miss anything. And of course, a live class you don't want to miss. All right, till I see you next time, I say bye bye.